Hey guys, Cheat the Geek here, back with a deck profile. It's been probably years since I've done one of these. Today is May 4th, and today was Star Wars Day. Uh, so Games Universe in Brookfield was doing this 1K event. Not actually $1,000, but $1,000 in prizing. As you can see on the screen there, this was their little advertising for the event that I went to. I'll let you guys pause that if you want to read it. We'll go to the melee standings. I finished 15th out of 24 in total. I had 2 wins, 3 losses, no draws. There was only 5 rounds, if you do the math on that. And then they did a cut to top 4. We did hit their minimum of 24. So top 4 played the 2 more rounds, but there was only 5 rounds of Swiss. There was no top 8. Let me see if I can screen for the deck that I played. And this is a deck that I played. I call it Sabine in the City because I use a Coronet City. I like the cyberpunk style art of the yellow base for this one. I was using a hyperspace variant, but yeah. So I was playing yellow Sabine, or a lot of people call it blonde Sabine. I wanted to give yellow a shot. I've been playing green Sabine since Sat 1. There was another format where I very briefly played yellow Sabine. I want to say it was actually at, I think, the store championships for Evo for Set 2. I want to say. I think it was Set 2. Evolution Games in Milwaukee. I played yellow Sabine. The deck has changed each time, each set release. I'll get more into that. As you can see, I played 9 1-drops, 3 Chopper, 3 R2, 3 Wolf Pack Escort, 3 Heroic Sacrifice, 3 Green Squadron A-Wing, 3 Leia Organa, 3 Sabine Wrens, the unit, 3 Bamboozle, 3 Surprise Strike, 3 Fleet Lieutenant, 3 Millennium Falcon, Set 1-1, 3 Red 5s, 3 Sabine Masterpiece, 3 Wing Leaders, 3 For a Cause, 3 K2 ESO, and then the only one that wasn't the 3 of, which was 2 Plo Koons. I wanted to try Yellow Sabine. I wanted to try this list. I kind of loosely based it off of Rebel Resources build from like a couple months ago that he posted on his YouTube channel. That he was playing against Jango Fett when that leader was still legal in the format. Obviously, he got banned, but now we have the new threat, which is Quinlan Red in the format. And part of the Jango strategy is also similar to play against it, is also similar to what you would do against Quinlan, which is basically to go wide with as many units as you can to be able to spread damage around and not get blown out. Because Quinlan's going to either discard your hand or try to kill all your units for the most part. You definitely don't want to get your first turn play killed, because Quinlan can easily do that with his leader ability if they play a unit. And then Tarkin Town, that's 4 damage that can hit your unit. That pretty much kills any turn 1 unit in the game currently, to the best of my knowledge. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 1/5s that are 2 cost that would survive it, but they're also not good and they don't see play. So the next best thing is to play 2 level 1 units on your first turn, so that way Quinlan is only killing one of them. He's not killing both of them, because he can only choose to ping one of them, and Tarkin Town only works if the unit already has damage on it. So some of my design choices were I really did not like Cartel Turncoat. That's really only good in Kaz, and even then that's debatable. I don't want to give any deck an additional card. That's kind of the Yu-Gi-Oh player in me. Giving your opponent cards is always a bad thing. So I play Wolfpack Escort and only that one. As my space 1-drop. it has additional utility. Even has a 2-1 to be able to uh, bounce another unit if you want to. Um, it does let you potentially like refresh Millennium Falcon or reuse a Leia Organa or even reuse a Fleet Lieutenant. That didn't come up in any of my games. Wolfpack Escort usually just died or I didn't have it. I played Chopper as my other 1-drop next to R2D2. R2D2 is obviously good. I won't spend too much time on him. The set 1-1. This one potentially we do have 2 Spectre units. One is Sabine's masterpiece. This is a Spectre. But also Sabine herself on her flip turn when she comes out is also a Spectre. So he can occasionally get his raid 2 ability so that he swings for 2. This actually probably makes him the strongest 1-drop in the game, more or less, as a 1-2-3 if you have another Spectre out with an upside ability, not a downside ability. Whereas on attack, your opponent discards the top card of their deck, and if it's an event, you can exhaust already any resource. Sabine's masterpiece has a similar ability if there's a yellow unit out, which Chopper it kind of is. So you have both of these out, but you can potentially exhaust 2 of their resources. I don't think I ever managed to pull that off. But it is something that you can do to try to have like a random control element in yellow Sabine that you don't really get with the green variant. But yeah, I wanted to have the 9 1-drops to guarantee that potentially I could have 2 in my opening hand out of my starting 6, especially after a mulligan. Chopper R2D2 is a little bit better than Wolfpack Escort. It is the weakest out of the 1-drops, but it's still a 1-drop in space that you can have. I wanted to make sure that I could lane dodge if I needed to, which Sabine decks are always mostly units, and with this build, I think the unit split is, I think it's 20 and 18, which I think is 20 ground, 18 space, which is not bad. That's as close to 50-50 as you can get. That's about almost 40 cards of your deck is just units. That's what Sabine wants. So I kind of had it split like that. So I wanted to at least have a 1-drop space unit that I could play. You know, I didn't have a second one just to lane dodge in space potentially if the opponent goes ground. And Quinlan is stronger on the ground. So is Sabine Green. She's also slightly stronger on the ground. So potentially going to space to try to just lane dodge, try to avoid potential sentinels as well was the key mindset behind that. For another 1-drop was Heroic Sacrifice, I wanted to have another damage boost besides Surprise Strike and Fleet Lieutenant. Most of the cards are Rebels. The only ones that are not, I believe, are Plo Koon and Wolfpack Escort. Those are the only 2 non-Rebels. But sometimes you do need the extra damage boost. Because even with Sabine Green, even matches I played today, which I forgot my pad. Yeah, I have to go grab that to go over my actual matches I played today. But having this extra attack card, because you won't always see these, unironically. I think there was a game where I didn't see my Surprise Strike. But being able to draw or replace itself as a 1 cost and giving a 2-0 boost. Yeah, the unit dies if it hits anything, but I think that's perfectly fine. Even for any of these 1-drops, Heroic Sacrifice is not that big of a deal. You don't want to do it if you don't have to, but potentially being able to just get something out of the way, break a shield. Probably not break a shield, but I guess you can do that because it doesn't deal damage, I believe, with how the rulings work. That didn't come up today. Or take out a unit that has low health or has damage on it. Like what is it, the Shadow Tank or whatever it's called, the 5/3 Sentinel. Heroic Sacrifice with any of these will kill it, and you get the draw to replace it. So that's not too bad. It gives a lot of because you play mostly weenie units, it gives a lot of them enough attack power to kill a stronger unit. That's the whole point. You don't have to waste a Surprise Strike on it. Surprise Strike is also a 2 cost, which doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's a big deal for Sabine. Sabine always wants to mostly stay under 3. Obviously, there's 4 and a 5 costs in here, but Sabine usually wants to stay under 3 for anything. Best riders, no explanation for A-Wings. Leia Organa is basically another tap-down ability like Bamboozle. You won't always have the Bamboozle, so sometimes having a Leia, who is also a rebel, can tap down a unit so it just doesn't get to swing at you for the turn is also nice. Plus, you're putting a body on board. In that sense, it does make it a little bit better than Bamboozle, but you play Bamboozle for the format, which is everyone's playing pilot upgrades and stuff like that. Bamboozle is great for that, but a lot of these pilot upgrades you don't want going back to the hand because a lot of them, the ones that are seeing play, have on-play abilities, which is really annoying. So that's something you have to kind of be careful for. But I think I only played Leia once or twice today. Out of the 5 rounds, 5 matches I played, she works okay to just stop a unit from swinging for a turn, which can make the difference. But at the same time, it's just like, if a unit has upgrades on it, you want the upgrades off because they're still swinging for a lot potentially, and Leia doesn't really give you that extra utility. She can also exhaust already a resource, so if they have other cards they want to play that turn, you could try to turn those off. But I was never playing her for that. That's almost what Chopper was for, realistically. So you had another potentially resource tapper in her with Chopper and Sabine's Masterpiece, but that never came up either. Sabine Run, obviously great unit. Bamboozle, obviously good card. I think every card in this row is just a good self-explanatory card. If you're playing Sabine Yellow, you would play all of these, essentially, especially in the format right now. Needs no explanation. It does make the deck more 3-heavy than the Sabine Green version. And like I said, 3 is basically your top end. Because it's a long time to go from 3 resources to 6. Because 3 resources is your turn 1, but 6 is 3 more turns after that, and the game changes a lot. And Sabine games are usually being determined on that turn 6 or turn 7, more or less. I mean, your resources, not your actual turns, but your resources. Last row of Sabine's Masterpiece. This is another 3 cost that's seeing more play now. And I think in a lot of hero decks they're just playing this because if it's a pick a path ability, essentially based on the color unit you have out, and all 4 of these are actually decent abilities. Obviously for our deck we only get the red or the orange one, which are unfortunately probably the 2 weaker ones right now, but being able to ping something did come in handy. I was able to swing and ping like a 2 damage Sabine Wren the opponent had out, so it was able to kill it. Also lets the Masterpiece sometimes do 1 extra damage, so it might be swinging for 4 technically. It almost acts like another Sabine Wren unit in that sense, where it swings and can throw a damage on attack, so it swings higher than it actually is. Then its stats would indicate. This is just a generically another good 3 cost. It does make this deck clog with 3s a lot, where you can only play 1-3 on like turn 3, 4, or turn 3 and 4. If you're stuck with a bunch of 3s, you have to decide, okay, am I playing, Masterpiece, Wing Leader, Fleet Lieutenant, Millennium Falcon, Red 3? Because all 5 of these are really good, and you can't have enough resources to play all of them, so you have to decide which one is the best at that moment, and they're all good equally in different scenarios. Even for a cause, even though it's not a unit, it's another 3 cost you're fighting with to figure out, it's like, what's the best one to play. A lot of times if I know I'm not dying, you wait on this and then you play one of these instead. Most of the time I want to say the Millennium Falcon is probably the best one because it comes in ready and you can swing for 3 right out of the gate. You get that guaranteed 3 attack in on that turn most of the time. Plus with the 4 body, the opponent really isn't killing it. Especially if you have it come down on that turn 3, they're probably not killing it. It's going to stick around for at least a turn. I was also tempted to play the the other red 5 that came out in the new set, the 3-4 oh, not red 5, is it red 3? Is the other red 3? I forget the name of it because they all have number names, but when it swings, it can deal 2 damage to it in a damage unit, but it's also another 3/4 red heroic for a 3 cost. That's also a rebel, which is pretty good. Um, that'd be the only thing I'd swap with the masterpiece potentially, just because it's another 3/4 unit for Sabine yellow. And these are self-explanatory. K2 isn't as good as in this one because you can't give it ambush. K2 really wants ambush. Just hard playing it and just leaving it out is not that great. However, you have the luxury of potentially doing a heroic sacrifice on K2, which I didn't get the chance to do today. Or I might have did it once. I think I might have did it once, where he basically swings for 9 because he's gets the +2 boost. You get the draw. He swings for 6 if he can just directly hit base, and then he can blow up. He blows himself up for 3 because he did damage. So that's 9 damage in total, which is pretty insane. That's like 1/3 of a 30 HP base health almost by himself. So that's one good combo you get out of it. But I think Sabine Green's also playing this card, but maybe not. They're not playing 3 of it. They might only be playing 1 or 2, and then siding the rest. Last 2 Plo Koons. I also played this because Rebel Resource was playing it in his list. I do see the value in it. If you have 2 units out on board that get to stick, he can come out as an ambusher. I'll get back to ambush in a minute, actually. Raid 3, which makes him, when he's swinging, he's a 6/6, which is pretty nice. He takes out most leaders and a lot of big units, which is why you play him, and on a 5 cost body. So that's as low cost as you can get to swing for that much with an inherent ambusher. He does have the condition where you need to have 2 other units out because he needs to coordinate to trigger to get his raid 3. But that still makes him useful just in that of itself. He came in handy in actually my last round matchup against a Hera on a lake deck. Because Hera was a little bit annoying and I had to Plo Koon throw him out there to kill his leader Hera. So she's at 6 health. She's a 4/6, so he gets to live and kill her before she starts putting up Spirit tokens on the Ghost. Which I'll get to that matchup in a minute. As for the sideboard, I couldn't list it here because I don't know how SWB works for that. But basically, I was playing the 3rd Plo Koon, and then some more 3-ofs. 3 SpecForce Soldier, which I think is mandatory in every Sabine deck because Sentinels are annoying. 3 Waylays to get rid of any super big threat that you just can't kill. Usually if they start pumping up a unit with upgrades, you waylay it. That happened in a match, I believe it was my round 4 match against Loopy, who was playing Han Green. He was trying to do the speeder bike combo on me with bigs, and I waylaid it, so it couldn't swing at me for like 10 damage. That probably won me that game, because I think I did win that specific game. Because it set him back so far, and he lost the upgrade, and that was the only unit he had for the turn. So Waylay is good when it's good, but it's a 3 cost, so it kind of sucks you don't get to do anything that turn. So it's really unfortunate. I wish it was a 2 cost, but that'd make that card broken. Yellow would love a 2 card bounce. That'd make yellow even stronger than it already is. I think the last 3 I was playing for the 10 card sideboard was Spark of Rebellion. That was the worst card in the deck. I sided it in, never had it, never played it, never really used it. It never came in handy. I should have replaced that with something else. Going over my matchups, even though I don't have my pad with me, I have my little draw pad that I had written down. Round 1, I 2-0'd. It was Po Blue, which was an interesting deck. But my deck was just faster. I couldn't say a whole lot about it. That was round 1. Round 2, it was a Sabine Green deck. That was the matchup I was expecting. I got game 1, but I lost 2 and 3. He was playing the 3/2 ship. That's the opposite of this, which is what, Red Squadron Green Wing or something like that. But it's the 3/2. It actually has the stats, but the stats are basically flipped. It's also a 2 cost. That card's really annoying in space because it kills anything in the yellow build that you want to play. Which I'll get to that at the end about what the deck really needs to be fixed or changed with. But yeah, that card kind of just stopped me. I couldn't go through space unless I had Millennium Falcon. Even then, it was like it wasn't even the greatest. But yeah, he got me that one. I just couldn't do anything. He had just had more damage each time. I think round one he was just kind of unprepared for the matchup, but then round 2 and 3 after he sided, it was the easy win for him. That's how a lot of my games went. I didn't get too old any of my matches today, which was nice. That means the deck is functional, it works. But after siding, I lost every game, so it says a lot about more so my side deck and what I needed to change for it. If I play it again and I don't switch back to the Sabine Green, which I'm debating for the next big event, that I may or may not go to. I might play Sabine Green, but I might stick with the yellow version if I can fix it, but we'll see. Round 3, after the Sabine Green deck, I had to play, I think it was a newer guy. He was playing Asajj Yellow. I think he was brand new. I think he started playing probably this month or last month. That was my other 2-0 win. That was my only 2 wins today. Were decks that weren't really meta per se. But the Asajj Yellow deck did have some nice plays that he had. He definitely did push for a decent amount of damage. I think one game he got me up to 22 damage, where I just wasn't able to like stop him from pushing for so much damage. But I was able to curve out better with the wing leaders, especially boosting my units to trade with his and live, and then be able to swing for a lot of damage to help me win that game. Round 4 was against Loopy from Late Night Gaming. As I mentioned, he was on Han Green. I think a pretty stereotypical build, I want to say. For the most part, I didn't see anything too outlandish from that build. The only game I won was the game 2, where he only had the speeder bike play with bigs on it on his turn 2, which is 3 resources, and I waylaid it. And my first turn, I want to say, was R2D2 Chopper, which these two are great together. So they were able to just swing constantly for damage the whole game. I don't think they ever died. I think R2D2 might have died at the very end, but like they put in work together. Just being beefy with the huge stats and just swinging. And Chopper, I think Chopper discarded a good 3 or 4 cards that he wanted. Like I'm pretty sure it discarded a Poe Dameron at one point, the 5 costs. It discarded a bunch of stuff that was really good that he wanted. It discarded a Millennium Falcon, I think, but it was the other one, not this one. The mono white one. So Chopper was probably the MVP of the day. A lot of people, when I got him out with R2, they didn't think, they'd never touched him, and he got in there for a lot of damage, especially when I put a Spectre out and he was swinging for 2 and discarding their deck. Then they started respecting him, then they started killing him right off the bat. So he was kind of the MVP of the day. But I don't know if I would stick with him in this build, but I probably would, just because I would have to change other things. And then last round 5 was Hera on a lake, which was, they're playing a lake country, which is the colorless 34 HP base with Hera from set 1. Game 1 he didn't do a whole lot, so I wasn't sure what the deck was trying to do, and then at the end he just came back and I had like no board and he had like 5 units, so I just lost. Game 2 was extremely close, but I won on a misplay where I had R2 with 3 damage on it, and he had the same board set where he was like, I was at 28 damage where he could just kill me on the next turn, but I took initiative. He had someone with all of his guys, so he had to pass, and I top decked a surprise strike to hit him with R2 for 4 damage, which was exactly enough to kill his lake country, because he had 30 damage on his base. And that was even after healing, because he had to restore 1 guy out there. Super close game. If he had killed the R2, I would have lost that game 2-0. That would have been my only 2-0 loss. But he left it alone because he didn't consider it a threat, and I was able to surprise strike him for the win on that one. It didn't matter. He still got the match. He won game 3 pretty handily, because that deck's kind of ridiculous. Didn't think it'd be that hard to get the 34 damage, but it was. But I'm probably thinking of Sabine Green wouldn't be that hard to hit it, but for Yellow Sabine it is harder. Those were my matchups. So what I learned from today and moving forward, if I want to continue to play Sabine Yellow and Sabine Yellow in general, what it needs most of all is even lower cost removal option, which seems ridiculous to even say it, but that's what it needs. Um, Waylay is good, but it's not good enough. It being a 3 cost really sucks for Sabine. Um, Definitely need something in the 1 cost or 2 slot that can actually do something relevant. Bamboozle is nice, but it's still not good enough. Even Surprise Strike to boost a guy by 3 is almost not enough in some cases, with the pilot boost being so big. Sometimes it's not enough, but you don't want to blow 2 cards to kill one, which I had to do that today a lot. Like on my Sabine unit to kill something for like 6 damage, just because I needed the damage output to kill a buffed up unit. But that could also be my side decking issue. But yeah, it needs better yellow events that do things. And what it also needs is the other major thing, and it needs ambush. Not just Plo Koon. Plo Koon isn't good enough because he's on 5 resources, and he needs coordinate to trigger. Sabine Green has that advantage, which is the 2 big advantage over yellow is the access to ambushers through ECL and timely intervention to give any of their things ambush is extremely strong. I got ambushed a lot, and that's I think part of the reason why I lost my games was I got ambushed when I wasn't expecting to get ambushed by green decks. And then the other thing is Rebel Assault and Sabine Green. Rebel Assault is an incredibly strong card. Unironically, the Sabine Green I played round 2, he didn't draw Rebel Assault in the 2 games I played against him, or the 3 games I played against him. I don't think he had a single Rebel Assault. If he played one, it was in game 2 and it didn't matter because I was still like ahead at that point in time, but he did it anyway. But like that was just bad draws on his end. But like Rebel Assault is super strong. The +1/+1 and double swing is just super strong. Yellow doesn't have anything like that right now. There is a colorless space variant of Rebel Assault that lets 2 space units attack but doesn't give them any attack boost. That's the closest thing you're going to get right now. And I was even considering playing that for this deck, but there was just no room, and I would have to go majority space to get the most value out of that deck, or out of that card. And then I was thinking, it's like, well, it doesn't give the attack boost. Is it even really worth it? And because I'm not playing like a 2 cost space unit or another 1 cost space unit, it would only be relevant with Sabine's Masterpiece to get one of its pickup power triggers. But outside of that, the card wouldn't be really worth it. A lot of my space units are just a little bit too high cost to be able to play another 1 cost. Obviously, it would benefit, A-Wings, but that's just to get it to swing so it doesn't get hit for, well, it's only a 1 power, so it can swing for its 3. I think I brought this up on one of the other tabs. I believe this is every ambusher for red, heroic, and yellow that currently exists. Not a big list. I'm pretty sure green has more. Out of these ones, for my build of the deck, I don't think you need a space ambush as much as you need a ground one. That's where I was getting hit the most. So I think Sabine yellow, it needs to play like throwaway units just as removal options. So like a fireball for a 2/3/3 that can just take out the space unit. Like the 2/3/2 space unit that's a rebel. Fireball will help take care of that. To just get rid of it. It's gonna trade, but you're getting rid of it before it can kill your A-Wing. And then probably Contracted Hunter. Even though he kills himself at the next turn, a 3/4/4 that just ambushes in with 4 power is just super strong. It living doesn't matter as much, but you want to take out the big ground threat. Because this is actually seeing play in Kaz to trade with K2SOs cleanly. And then, like I said, it comes out for a lower cost and can kill K2SO, which is pretty nice, just straight up. This can also take out a lot of units inherently by itself. I was even thinking about it in my head while I was playing today. Like, I think it takes out most of the Sabine Green units, all the way up to K2SO, by itself cleanly. The only ones that's not going to kill is like a Poe Dameron, who has 6 6 HP, and then a Wrecker if they have it for 6 HP. Um, but still, it does that much damage. It's still super strong. So just Sabine has to be worried about going to the ground, because you can just drop this and kill whatever they have out. You don't have to trade one of your actual good units. So I was probably actually side him in the build, because my side deck's probably going to be mostly units. The SpecForce Soldiers for the Sentinels, which there was a lot of today, which that helped. And the rest will probably just be units. I didn't like Plo Koon as much as I thought I would, but I had a feeling about that. I do think he is super relevant, but I feel like him requiring coordinate to get his ambush isn't as good as just having an inherent ambusher like this guy. Even though he's going to die, I think just having that is better, even though it's less damage. Like, obviously I would want a 6 ambusher over a 4, but like, you take what you can get, that's easy. And this fits more in line with Sabine other than the 5 cost Plo Koon. I think a 2-2-3 is a little bit too small of an ambusher, even though that's still pretty good. It's just way too small. If I want to play an ambusher, I want it to actually kill things. And you see a lot of the other ambushers that have 4 are also 4 costs, like this guy. The hidden sharpshooter, I think the chain code collector, yeah, is also a 4 cost. Every other ambusher is like, has another condition on it which you don't want, or they're super high costs for Sabine that Sabine's not gonna play. Like another, this one's actually not bad, but it's a 5 cost, but it's only 3 power. That's not good enough. The Contract Hunter still beats that out for damage purposes. Let's see, and like out of this list, Tano has a condition on it that you might not be able to get her to go off. This guy's heroic, but he's not a rebel, and he's only a 3/2. I believe he's like the only rebel besides Home 1. Or no, Home 1's the only rebel, I think. And Snowspeeder, but like, you're not playing either one of those. You play the Clone Trooper because he's a 3 cost, but you would play this guy just because he's probably dying no matter what with only 2 power. So like, you might as well just play this guy instead for the one higher up. Like, he's gonna be mono, so he's gonna cause your 4 cause the miss, but like, that's a minor downside to kill their ground unit that's bothering you. So he'd be the one I would play on the ground. In the air, it becomes a much harder decision for space. You really only have Fireball for space. Yeah, you might only have Fireball. Well, you have the Liberator gunship, but it's a 3/4. You could play this. Sabine Yellow was playing this before. I'm not playing it now, but it might have to go back to playing this for a space. Space Ambusher isn't as necessary as the other one. Because the 2/3/2 that Sabine Green plays, that's like A-Wing. It comes out on 2, so this comes out way too late to challenge it. Fireball would be the go-to. That'd be the only concern for Sabine Yellow. Everything else is higher cost, so yeah, it'd be probably these two I would add into the side deck, or even the main deck. So I was thinking about, like, you could probably just take out the Plo Koons for that guy, have him in there turn 1, and he dies the turn he comes out, but that's fine. But yeah, that was Sabine in the City, my Sabine Yellow, Blonde Sabine list. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to play this at the next event. I won't be at the Pastimes regional. I have to go to another store for another TCG for another event on that same day, which I believe that's May 10th. I might go to the one in Appleton. That's, I believe, the week after that. All things considered with work and everything, that is 2 weeks out. I don't know if I'll have to work that day or not. It's also a long drive. It's about 2 hours from where I live, but that's the only other regional close enough to where I live that I would want to go to. And I don't know if there's going to be any more like in Wisconsin or Illinois before the end of this year, especially before the winter hits. So I'm not driving 2 hours or not even an hour 30 minutes in Wisconsin Blizzard. I'm just not gonna do it. It's too unsafe for me personally. So I'll be staying home on those days. But right now, while the weather is not bad, I will try to go to one more big event. But I am happy with how the deck performed. I didn't get 2-0 the entire day. So that means the deck has promise. But like I said, I was still also debating on potentially just going back to the Sabine green version, even though everybody's playing it. But I hate mirror matches. That's the thing. But I might have to take the coin flip on the mirror match. Supposed to try playing the yellow build, which isn't as good against Sabine green right now as it was before. Right now, it's not as good as Sabine green. I think it's a little bit below. It has an okay matchup against like the field. Like even today, it kind of proved that like it can win games. It can close out the games it needs, but it's gotta get the 2-0 or 2-1 win. So it needs that last push to get there. So I just need to look at what yellow has to offer. It may not even come to the next set. There might be something in the next set that helps yellow out. But we'll see. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support. I don't do deck lists very often. I might do something for the All-Star Tour Championships, which is next week, that I'm going to. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see on people who actually show up to that event, because I don't know how people are going to be there. But I will be there, so we'll see. But yeah, I appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Thank you.